Hi guys. A little shop update. The TIG pulsar. I tried it out for the first time, had some problems. Turns out that the high frequency stuff got into it. And fortunately it didn't blow up any hardware, but it totally wiped out the flash in the processor and in the display. So I hooked up my programmer up to the processor board, the Arduino, and was able to reprogram that. Unfortunately, or well, I suppose I should say fortunately, they did post the source code for the LCD. Unfortunately, it's really hard to build a make file because there's a lot of other libraries that go along with it. So what I've been doing for the last, I don't know, week or so, on and off, is trying to get Atmel Studio to cooperate and build that file. Now I know the LCD works because I have a JTAG ICE programmer from Atmel, and I hooked up the SPI bus to it, and I was able to read the processor ID and things like that. But the memory is wiped. So I can reprogram it, but I just have to build the file to do it. So that project is kind of on hold until I figure out how to get it going. Shouldn't be too hard though. Got another little project. On a recent tool order, I had to build it out to a minimum, the Enco thing, you know. And so I bought a couple of these slitting saws, and got to make an arbor for it. So it's a 1-inch diameter, it's got a key in it, it's 32 thousandths thick. It's for like cutting screw head slots, and you know, if you want to make a clamp, this is what you use to slit it. I don't want to pay for an arbor, so I'm going to make one. I'm not sure about this key, whether I'm going to put it in there or not, because you know, I don't have a bridge port, so I really don't have a lot of high cutting forces, or I'm not supposed to anyways. So I got a piece of 4140 in the lathe, and got it in the 4-jaw just for the heck of it. I am no Adam Booth. It took me probably 10 minutes to get this running true. But you know, if you don't practice, you know, you're never going to get it. So I figured, what the heck, I take my 6-jaw off, which would have been fine for this job, and I put the 4-jaw on there, and I've just been turning it down. So this is an 1.5 inch piece of what I say, 4140. It's pre-hardened, so it's about 30 RC. Not terrible to cut, but the chips it leaves is horrible, as you will see. I've decided to trim back and make a 2-inch long 3/4 inch shaft so I can fit it into my R8 collet. And out here I'll probably just clean it up and leave it at this 2-inch or 1.5 inch diameter. And then we'll turn it around, we'll cut a little step on it so the saw sits there, and then we'll thread it so we can get a bolt in there to tighten it up. And I don't know, I could take this thing off, throw it on the rotary table after I get it all turned down, and cut it so I could put a keyway in there, or I could just put a roll pin in there. Haven't quite decided yet. So I'm gonna turn this down. I just basically cleaned off the mill scale, and it's running true now. So we'll just cut it down and make a saw arbor. Here we go. It's time to turn on the suck pump. See what I mean about these nasty chips. I'm using a carbide insert from the chip breaker. I still haven't found a feed or a speed that's going to get this thing to break right. It's making these long razor sharp chips. So I'll just press on. I'm taking a 50 thousandths cut depth. Like about 20 thousandths per rev, which is real rough and cut, but I'll get this down fast. Notice these pliers, they got no grips on them, they got smooth handles, they got a little bit of serration on them, but not much. If it yanks it out of my hand, it isn't going to pull my hand into the chuck, it'll just slip right out. So what I'm going to do now is just measure it quickly to see how close I am to 3/4. And then look at this thing. This thing is like a razor. It's 3 feet long. Alloy steel is tough stuff. You know, you can cut it. It gets real hot, turns blue, and the chips don't break. So it's good for making tool holders and stuff, but it's kind of a bitch to cut. Alright, let's get my gesso-meters out here. We're at 1.115. We've got 100 thousandths to go. Okay, so I threw in a radius bit, honed it up with my diamond hone, got her on center height, trimmed back all that material I had left on there to just what I need for the radius, and I'm going to put it on there. I think I gotta pull this bit in a little bit. It's chattering a little too much for me. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. Alright, I'm going to clean this face up. I'm going to part it off. Or actually, I'm going to cut it off in the bandsaw. Alright, here we go. Stand by. Alright, so we get this bag in the lathe. This is a tenths indicator, so it's running out well, 5/10 thousandths, something like that. Okay, so that's as good as I'm going to get it. Time to start cutting. Hang on. Alright, finally we are ready to cut. So let's dial in about 400. Just going to do a scratch pass here. Okay. Let's get some measuring going here. So I'm going to set my digital calipers to 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to zero it. Now, if I look on the outside of this thing, I can. Okay, this is telling me I got 474 thousandths to take off. 200, maybe 20, 30, 25, 26, 27. Alright, so that boss should fit this saw. Pretty damn close. I'm going to shave off a couple thou. Okay, that's it. So we'll just make this about 40 thousandths thick. I'm liking this. All right. That's perfect. Okay, let's thread it, and then we'll make the other piece. So get it set up, and I'll be right back. Pretty cool, man. Power tapping 4140. Okay. Alright, I'm going to set up to make the other half of this now. Okay, this piece is finished. I love this fit, it's perfect. Just sticking up a little. So what I'll do is I'll make basically a cupped washer, fits over this, and I'll lock it, and if I really have to, I'll put a roll pin right there, keep it from turning, but I don't think I'm going to have to do that. Okay, alright, I got the relief done in the center. It's 10 thousandths over the step in this, and see there's just a little gap there. It's thinner than the saw blade, so it will clamp the blade. There's a clearance hole in the center. I used this bit here, which is brazed carbide, so I could get a square shoulder. And I think we're ready to part it off. Okay, it's done. Parted it off, and for people who think you can't part off 4140 with a crappy little T cutoff blade on a Taiwanese lathe that is less than rigid, you can do it. So there it is. It's tight. I don't think I'm going to even need a roll pin, because to tell you the truth, this thing is tight as hell, and if something bad does happen, like it grabs, I might want it to spin rather than break into a million pieces. So there you go. Set it up in the mill and see if it cuts. Alright, I got a piece of scrap aluminum in here. I got this blade spinning at 50 RPM. Put a little WD-40 on it. Let's see what happens here. Cutting good. There you go. Cut a slit now. It's not really running out hardly at all. Pretty good slit. All right, another successful project completed. Thanks for watching, and if you guys have anything you want to see me make or do, let me know, and we'll put it on the list. Take it easy.